Greetings, dear viewers, and welcome to the Creative Society TV. Today, we continue our series of discussions on the topics raised in the International Online Forum, Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live, which took place on May 7, 2022.
Do you want to know the real cause of climate change, or why today the whole world is mad about reducing CO2 emissions? Why is the refugee crisis and people's misfortunes a business? And how much do we pay for violence? Or you are interested to know the true cost of fancy clothes you wear and how it's related to water you drink? And most importantly, what can we do and why should we all this concern us? So much truth in one place you have never seen, and it was voiced by people in 100 languages. This will change our view on the world we live in. If you haven't watched the forum yet, find it in your language on the Creative Society website. Watch it, know the truth, and let it reach every person in order for us all to have a future.
Yes, and today we're glad to introduce our guests who will also talk more on the topics which were raised in the forum. So I'm happy to introduce Agustin Smith from Argentina, volunteer of the Creative Society project. Greetings, Agustin. Thank you for being with us.
Gracias a ustedes. Hola.
Hello.
Also, we welcome Deepak Kumar from India, founder, chairperson, Smiles4millions Trust, Peace Ambassador, United Nations Peacekeeper Federal Council. Greetings, Deepak.
Thank you. Namaste from India.
And we welcome Jaron Bytheway from the USA, monetary specialist. Greetings, Jaron. So, dear friends, dear our speakers, we would like to ask all of you a short question to share your impression which topic from the conference touched you the most and what you would like to share with people. Augustine, could you please share your impression?
Sí, hola a todos. A mí me gusta.
Hello, everyone.
Interesante todo lo que se mostró.
I liked and found everything that was shown in the forum interesting, especially about technology, such as 3D printing, the fact that you can grow plant-based meat,
Y con la mejor
or
calidad.
build houses without any human effort, at a lower cost and with a better quality, regenerate organs and limbs. And I keep thinking, what a huge number of people could walk or see again. How many people could eat and have a free house thanks to the Creative Society? This is very interesting. Even the rescue technology that was presented is already some kind of relief, given the disasters that are happening everywhere today. I'm sure we are in a state of emergency in every aspect, so I would like to pay attention to the part about the unified service that deals with emergency situations.
Great, thank you. Thank you for your comments on the forum. And indeed, technology has been a huge part of this forum as an answer to the current situation. Technology will help us, but we of course need to make sure the right funding, the right attention and times is used on the right technology for our future. So thank you for re-emphasizing on that very important piece. Same question, Jaron. What is the most interesting thing that you learn from the forum? Maybe something that you were not aware before, something that you would really like to share with everybody. What is that information that you got?
So I think some of the best information out there that you're not going to find in the media that we see on TV is the real conditions of like refugees and people around the world and all these natural disasters that are occurring around the world, and the aftermath of what happens in these areas, and along with the complete failure of governments to actually help their people. And this is where monetary policy comes in, this is where monetary policy comes in, because since everything is controlled financially from the standpoint of people's opinions, because it's only a matter of politics. It is a political opinion whether or not to fund the attention and resources to any given problem. Whatever a lawmaker has been inculcated into, whatever they've been brainwashed to believe about finance and spending money on problems, that's going to affect the outcomes we get in the world today. So if they've been brainwashed that we have to collect taxes before we can spend on a problem or something like this, they're not going to, they'll use political rhetoric to deflect spending so that they can stay in office, because people might vote them out of office if they use some kind of fear-mongering to say, oh, well, if they're going to like spend money on helping people, that's going to come out of our taxes or something, which is ridiculous, because that's never really an excuse when it comes to human life, since the number one priority of any government should be human life, right? And so another important thing is the 8 foundations of the creative society. They are a fundamental way of thinking for people, and that's an important part of this entire thing. Everybody should look into as very simple way of thinking.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jaron, for sharing. And it's true that information which was voiced in the forum regarding refugees, regarding some financial systems and so on, it's really showing that we need to unite our efforts and really create such conditions that all people live good and that we value human life. And as you said, that 8 foundations is that basis which can ensure that we will find all the tools and implement everything necessary to really help every person to have sustainable and good living conditions. Thank you so much. Thank you for highlighting these points. And I would like to ask also, Deepak, you, what topic touched you the most in the forum? What you would like to share?
Thank you very much, first of all, Latra TV, for giving this opportunity to speak on the most important topic which Latra TV and the entire volunteers did, during this global crisis event. So I think the most important part, and today is the 5th June and 2022, and we are celebrating World Environment Day. And especially if we talk about the conference and global crisis, the first that I would also talk about the 8 foundations of creative society. The first foundation is talking about the human life, and human life is not possible if we are not going to take care of our environment, if we are not going to take care first our Mother Earth. So climate change is one of the most important topic which the world is facing right now, and this is the hot topic going on. So as we all know that just because of our activities and some of the economic factor, and there are so many things going on, just because of some of the benefits, we are destroying our Mother Earth and the nature. Without thinking much, if I would like to take some of the examples of our human life, especially we the human being, we are not thinking, practically we are not thinking what is going to happen after 1 year or after 3 years, 5 years or decade for the next generation. I think climate change is the most important topic
این موضوعی است که ما باید به آن توجه کنیم و نحو
and the youth is uniting towards it, and we can understand the kind of crisis in Australia, in Brazil, in India for the flood, and there are so many countries. We can see the live example how the things are going on. Sometimes we go through the cyclone and then flood, and there are so many things going on. This is happening just because of our own benefit. We are not thinking about the Mother Earth, but we are thinking about our own benefits. So there are many organizations, there are many factory owners, the private owners. They are only not focusing on the what will be good for the like entire nature or the earth, but we are only thinking about making benefits. I think we all have to understand climate change is not a very short-term factor. It's a big factor. Right now, glaciers are melting down, and there are too many things are going on. So I think the most important factor which the global crisis is focused on, the climate change, that we have to unite, not for the benefit of our own, not for the economical benefit, but for the human life. That is very important. And let us meet, and the kind of efforts which Alatra TV is doing by the giving the message, and there were many guests who had given the data and the research of their own through this global crisis. That is to be focused, and that is to be shared among all the youth, that is to be shared among all the organizations working for the environment. And this is how we can understand, and we can also share the 8 foundations of creative society. And of course, we are going to unite, and we are going to unify together to understand the meaning of global crisis. And of course, the kind of efforts which the youth of Alatra TV and the entire team is giving, we hope that we are going to bring every day as the World Environment Day. And this is happening, and this is possible just because of the efforts given by the Creative Society Project. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And that's really, today it's a critical question to study the real cause of climate change. And thanks to those scientists, those real heroes who openly say about truthful information about climate change, that the real reason of climate change are cyclical processes. And today we really need to unite whole humanity and all of our scientific potential to study these causes and really to ensure that we people have future. Because as you said, nowadays, some people are using just knowledge and information for their benefit, and millions of people are suffering from climate disasters. Thank you so much for touching on this point. And also, nowadays, we all hear about various types of crises. It's climate change, it's ecological crisis, pandemic, economical crisis, and so on. And there are numerous institutions and organizations which are aimed to solve the problems which we face as humanity. Yet, with increasing number and fundings, the problems are also only increasing. And at the same time, more and more people becoming victims of climate disasters, victims of social instability and conflicts. So coming the question, what is the reason and why, regardless of so much effort, we as humanity can't solve the problems we face? So, and who is responsible for it? I would like us to watch a short video from the forum.
We pay taxes to the government, and our governments pay hefty contributions to these organizations. Ultimately, we are already taxed by these organizations, yet they are still asking for more. Billboards, letters, internet ad campaigns, all this to make you feel guilty and accountable and willing to donate to such charities, selling you these narratives. It is a very effective strategy on their part, as mixing a combination of fear and guilt. is the most powerful motivator to get people to open their wallets, thinking they're going to help someone in need. One thing should be pretty obvious by now. This scheme will not work if the problem goes away. And here lies a fundamental conflict of interest. No problem, no money. Less of a problem, less money. No wonder we never solved a single problem, only got more of them. Let's be honest, in this consumer foremost of society, we are too accustomed to shifting the responsibility to someone else. What a relief it is to know that so many powerful organizations took the responsibility to fight world hunger and poverty, prevent wars and climate change. We were so happy to tick this off our to-do list.
Not working because we decide, as said, to take those topics, those issues out of our to-do list and just having some other people doing or trying to fix it. But obviously it's not working. We would like to continue on the discussion, and I would like to ask Jaron on the topic of this video. We know that this topic is not leaving you indifferent, so could you please share with us a little bit more on your view?
Yes. So, can you hear me? I think so.
Yes.
So, the thing is, with all these non-governmental charity organizations out there, all of them they're pulling all the attention to themselves for their own financial benefit while not actually solving anything, because they don't have the ability to create money. They have to get it donated to them. They're not a government that can allocate enough money to solve a problem, which is why almost every government in the world goes over budget every year, because they have problems they have to spend money on. And also all these charity organizations, they usually make the economic conditions in an area worse, especially in third world countries, where what they do is they spend the money on usually whatever businesses are benefiting them, usually on some products that benefits businesses in their own country. So if you're donating to like an American foundation or something, for instance, I live in Salt Lake City, and people donate, and while they might think that they're doing some good, well, this goes towards usually some kind of American business institution to provide some sort of products over in another place. And what actually happens is you divert any sort of monetary support for another economy somewhere, and you get rid of the economic infrastructure that could be set up in another place where people could have jobs and money flowing to them, because instead the money is flowing to some place where they already have plenty of money, or that things are kind of okay, but it's not. There's still bad economic circumstances for some people, but it's not as bad as in these other places. And this is just because of the way the money flows. And this is something that, people don't want to talk about these things because, we like to think that charity is a good thing. And it could be, well, it is a good thing to help people, but when we're taking away their economic livelihood, it's not a good thing. We're not helping anybody. And also, when it comes to like climate change, for instance, so you have all these non-governmental organizations that are also diverting the attention to them, and we think it gets people to think, oh, somebody's trying to do something about it. We have to come together as one human family in order to solve global problems. Anyways.
Thank you so much, Jaron. And it's true that in consumer format of society, it's like everyone has to think about own interest, because even those organizations which are created and to want to help people in consumer format of society, they anyway have to think also how to provide funds for their own existence. And it's coming out that we have so huge number of organizations, so huge number of different foundations who are fighting with the same cause, but it's coming out that they start fighting with each other. And it's some paradox which is being created in the consumer format of society. It's like coming out that on some problem, when people are suffering from climate disasters, from any other issues, someone is getting profit. And that's true that we really need to unite. We need to unite as humanity. We need to unite organizations, and first of all, not organizations, but people, and understand how we really want to make this world and how we can ensure and use all the tools to create good conditions for every person. Thank you so much for disclosing this topic. And it's true that not all people are trying to understand what's really happening. So thank you so much for paying attention to that. Thank you. And I would like to ask the next question to Deepak. You're working also with children, you're working for education, for empowerment. Could you please say how the situation, as you said today, we have climate crisis, but at the same time, there are people who don't have good living conditions. Could you please say how this consumeristic format impacting people's life?
Thank you very much, Anya. I think this is a very practical question I think I have ever been asked by someone. And I'm very thankful to the Creative Society project. And I'm feeling blessed in this work that I'm one of the international volunteer working for the Creative Society, which has not changed my mind, but which has confirmed that I'm on the right direction. So it's been 8 years working for the slums children, and right now we were watching the video, and the video was also talking, one of our great friend has already discussed so many things, but I would like to take some points from there. That right now, suppose we are celebrating World Environment Day. So many of the government and the non-government organizations, they are coming in front just to celebrate one day because it's World Environment Day. They are not celebrating, or they are not thinking, I'm not talking about everyone, but most of the organizations, they are not thinking that every day should be the World Environment Day. Every day plantation is very, very important. We are thinking to just celebrate it. We are not thinking what the reality is going on. As the global crisis has already shown, and every day on Creative Society project, Alatra TV is showing in which country, and I would like to request the viewers to watch the project of Creative Society and Alatra TV, what is going all across the world. Your eyes will be full of tears. The crisis is already going on, but we are sitting somewhere else. We are sitting on a single place. We cannot see the entire globe. But if we are going through the projects, we will understand the reality, what is going all across the globe. So the entire earth is in a great situation, and we have to come in front. Now coming to the question, as I'm working for the slum children for last 8 years, so it's around more than 2,000 slum children and the underprivileged children we are working for. So we are not taking any fees from those children because we know they don't have their parents or they are single parent. And even most of the children, they are from the labor class. They are living under the plastic. They don't have a roof to live in. So we are giving education to them, and we are asking to plant a sapling instead of taking any fees. So I think this is one of the most wonderful initiatives which we have been appreciated all across the globe, that one student has to plant a sapling or plant a plant instead of giving any fee because they don't have to pay that. And in this way, we have already planted thousands of plants all across the globe. And not only this, we have also given the message why this Mother Earth is important. And the youth generation, means the children, they are understanding the value of Mother Earth, they are understanding the value of environment. Instead of giving the economic, we are not promoting the economic culture, that if we are going to give you the education, you have to give the money. Instead, you have to plant a sapling, and whatever you have understood, you have to share the same education to the others. Suppose I'm teaching A, B, C, D. So if you are aware about the A, B, and C, teach A and B to the other because you are already aware about A and B. So in this way, education, environment, and the entire society is about to be empowered. It means we are working on education. So this is how we are connecting the creative society, and we are bringing the creative society in our real life. We are bringing a project of creative society and 8 foundation in, and we are inculcating the 8 foundations of creative society to the children. So this is how we can contribute, and through the unification, and this is how the creative society is working to unite the entire world. And we can also work for the climate change. Of course, we will win the kind of initiatives taken by the Alatra TV. Of course, we will win. And we are already implementing that on ground. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your actually very personal comments and experience on the topics, including the youth and basically our future of this generation. So I really like this idea of basically we should all behave like those young people. They are not afraid to act, and they do act. As soon as they are being told what is right, they will do things. There is so many people watching maybe the conference or knowing about this situation in which we are, that will not act. And it's unfortunate because it's all of us that needs to act. And we should definitely take example of those children acting on making a small thing, but nevertheless, all together, definitely make an impact for all Mother Earth, as you mentioned. So thank you very much for this very compelling example and reminding us that we should all act, reminding silence and remaining inactive is actually hurting all of us. So let's do it now because it's the right time to do it. So I would like to ask now the question to Augustine. So from one side, this forum shed light on huge problems we have in society. But on the other hand, there is already tools which can bring solution in various areas of our life. So Augustine, could you please share more about technologies and what possibilities which we already have can use due to the consumerism society?
Sí, bueno.
Yes, of course.
Incluso también en conferencias anteriores, por ejemplo, el tema de
these topics have also been discussed in previous conferences. For example, about fuel-free generators, which are a big step toward doing away with fossil fuels, which are basically damaging the planet. So I think in that sense, we need costless, free energy so that we can develop other technologies like air and water generators or 3D printers. We need energy for all these things. That is why it seems to me that fuel-free energy generators should be used in the first place, because they are free. That is free energy for all people. I understand that this could lead to unemployment in the oil and fuel industries, but just But just as we now lack things to survive, and we are looking for them, I think when these technologies become available, they too will have to look for a way to survive, a way to secure the future. And it's in the creative society, because we already have the solutions, and people have to open their eyes and look. It's very simple.
Thank you so much, dear Augustine. Thank you for talking about technologies. And that's true that we have kind of paradox when we have technologies to get water from the air, when we can produce food even in Antarctica and do all other things. And you're saying also about free energy. But at the same time, in consumer format of society, we can't implement these technologies to save people's life. Because in consumer format of society, everything is coming in the end to business, money, and power. And coming the question, so even if we change some people in order to make change, we cannot do it because the format is like that itself. And it's in our nature that we are following that. But what is the solution, and how can we move from the consumer-oriented society to the creative one and eliminate all these problems? But the wonderful news that we already have such solution. Let's watch one more video from the forum.
Voskhod MPC in the state. Despite the fact that Voskhod MPC was created for the transition period from a consumerist to a creative format of society, it can be effectively used at the level of the state or the Commonwealth of States and in the consumer society. Of course, in the consumer format, the democratization of information is out of the question, as it would make the state vulnerable. In this regard, the use of Voskhod MPC at the state level should take place in closed mode, with direct subordination to the head of the state. When Voskhod MPC is installed and integrated into all digital systems of the state, it carries out total supervision of the entire financial system. This ensures the transparency of the use of funds at all levels, allows the control of all financial flows, and operates with accurate data regarding both public and private capital. Voskhod MPC solves the problems of almost all controlling services and departments much more effectively while carrying out supervision for corruption and misuse of budgetary funds. In a consumer society, the weakest link at any level is the human being. The entourage of the head of any state is not an exception. Sometimes even his inner circle includes people who play a double game. The Voskhod MPC functions preemptively. It allows to identify such people timely. With precise information from the initial source, the first person of the state can always be sure of the loyalty and reliability of his team. It is enough during the report meeting with official to compare the reports provided by him with the real data given by Voskhod MPC. According to our calculations, for the secret department which will use the Voskhod MPC to be the most effective in such a state as China, for example, 12 employees would be enough, 3 IT specialists and 9 financial analysts, plus the head of this secret department. The complex is flawless. It is designed to be invulnerable to hacking. It is equipped with an internal audit and control system to identify unreliable employees who have access to it. The only vulnerable link when working with the Voskhod MPC in a consumer society are 2 people: the first person of the state, who decided to use the complex in the state, and the head of the secret department, who will operate and manage the Voskhod MPC. He will not be able to enter false data into the complex deliberately. This is impossible, but it is he who will provide reports to the first person of the state. State economic benefits. In economics, the Voskhod MPC makes the basing state practically out of reach of other states. The complex is capable of optimizing costs, bringing in huge profits by building accurate forecasts and financial models. It is also capable of significantly improving the economy and the well-being of the people. It will increase the level of trust for the government and strengthen the authority of the first person of the state. If we are to put into numbers the benefits of a single state from the usage of the Voskhod MPC, only on the optimization of budgets, personnel, restructuring of government services, the United States can save up to $2.5 trillion of the budget funds annually. Having the initial data on all the spheres of state life, Voskhod MPC predicts with maximum accuracy volatility of the economy. This enables reallocating budgetary funds between industries and companies with maximum efficiency, mitigating, reducing to zero, the negative effects of the crisis phenomena in the world economy, and using forecasts with maximum profit. Extensions and flexibility. There are methodologies for working with 31 sectors of the economy implemented in the Voskhod MPC. The XP Energy team has created Voskhod MPC with the possibility of its continuous development and improvement in case it is required. Suppose a new sector or industry of the economy appears. In that case, the functionality of the complex can be extended in a very short time. For example, the emergence of space tourism, which will undoubtedly become a new leisure industry in time, as well as planned flights to neighboring planets. Also, an industry that is about to burst into our lives and become an everyday occurrence. This refers to the industrial development of asteroids, or in other words, the extraction of raw materials on the asteroids and space bodies. We are ready to pass the Voskhod MPC to the state whose first person is ready to implement the creative society in their country.
There is a comment that we can oftenly hear about the situation in which we are, that this situation, this format of society is the format of society that has been out there for so long that it cannot be changed. It's been like this forever and cannot be changed. But this video, I think, is a very good example that there is transitional tools to a creative society already available. And by watching this video, we kind of give the right vision of what can be done. Not knowing this information, it's hard to actually imagine what things can be done differently. But I think this video has been very well presented to really give an idea of what is the future and what can we do currently as of today in terms of a society. How can we change it for the best? So, dear guests, as we see, everything is in our hands. So we would like to ask you, what do you see? Why do you see a change of format into the creative society? One, a unity for all of human as a solution. What is that a solution to be able to unite for the creation of the creative society? And what is the benefits that it will bring to every single person and humanity as a whole? Deepak, maybe can you answer this question from your own perspective?
I think the great thing which we can see right now, and especially if we talk about the video is showing that if we are going to understand that the solution is already there, the kind of mentality which is already going for long decades, or you can say centuries, we can be the change. And the kind of creative society and the kind of things which is coming, and the ideas are coming through the creative society project, especially we have already seen. And I'm feeling so glad that these things are possible. The technologies are coming according to with the creative society and the kind of creativity which is being used. And if we are going to see this is possible, the ideas can come, and being the youth of the world, and we all have to understand these ideas can bring and with the help of the 8 foundations of creative society, everything is possible. And the live example which we have seen right now in the video. So I think from my point of view, that everything is possible. Just we have to understand that why this creative society is important, and through these kind of like events, the global crisis, and even in the future also participate, and we all have to understand the importance of creative society, and we have to make it like spread the message of creative society to each and everyone. And we have to do from our own first, then to our society, then to our nation, and of course the change will come, and the change has already begun to come. So let us unite together, and with our unity everything is possible. I think the video has explained so much of the things, and especially if I talk about myself, I can understand this is possible. That is why we have implemented our creative society for our next generation through our education system, for our environment. So I think this is how we can change. So let us unite together to spread the message of creative society to our society. And one more point I would like to add, as the creative society is now coming with 100 languages, and we have to contribute to spread this message of creative society to all across the world. And this can be possible from our society first. And let us invite more and more people to understand the 8 foundations of creative society. So this is the only way which I have seen all across the world, that the peace is possible and everything is possible, and 8 foundations can be implemented in our society if we are going to unite and put it in our action and implement through our mindsets. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's really true, that today we already have all the tools, we already have all the possibilities, and we can change the whole conditions, the whole format of our society, and change life of every person. And it's really vital today that every person in the world has this information and understand that meaning, because we need to act, and we need to act as soon as possible. Thank you so much for sharing the importance of this. And I would like to ask Augustine, could you please share from your point of view why unification of people is so important, how it can help us? Could you please share on that?
Sí. La unificación me parece que es muy importante.
Yes, I think that unification is very important because it can help us.
Sin mentiras y sin tapaderas, sin secretos.
Because it's the only way to share information without lies, without cover-ups, without secrets. Let's stop putting a price on knowledge and learn together. By coming together, we can demand that our society prioritize the development of technology that can save everyone's life. And if we all come together, no one can say no to us. In my opinion, the brain is like a computer. It is necessary to upgrade an obsolete system to a more modern and compatible one. We must erase the old programs that are taking up space and generating conflict, and clear the space to make it free for greater efficiency. Negative thoughts are heavy and take up space, so we need to let go and free ourselves from the burden the system gives us to move forward. First, we need to focus on coming together, because no one can handle this crisis alone. Exactly. This is the biggest crisis of all, last one. That's why it's so important for us to unite.
Truth being the only one guide for society to move forward, because without truth we cannot go anywhere. With truth we can tackle corruption, such a big problem that we have. With truth there is no corruption. So that's a simple things to understand with the idea of creating the creative society and unification. The truth should be the single point to start with. So yeah, thank you very much for your comment on this. Jaron, what would you say to all of people? What is your insight on the importance of every person's decision and action?
Every person's decision and action is very important. And what we keep our attention on, especially with the collective attention of humanity together, focusing on all of humanity and not just your own family or your own nation or your own community, we can solve global problems.
Thanks for this answer and also example from your own experience. I think I really like the idea of the action of people needs to be driven once again by the truth. It seems that as of today, instead of having one truth, it's everybody having their own truth. And then they let their emotion driving them, and that's why it's very hard to actually unify people. But what is important, and that's what the forum has been presenting, is fact that can erase even the more skeptical person as soon as the facts are, and you cannot discuss them. And that's what really can drive the truth through this barrier of people. So it's very important to share that information and to make sure that everybody, like we are here today, can express their way of acting, so then you can inspire other people to also act, because they might think that, yeah, what can I do myself? But here we are talking about very important topic, the most important one, and hopefully being able to awake some people for them to do exactly the same, and so on and so forth. So from a small group of people, like you mentioned, Jaron, with a lot of effort, we might be able to create something great, and we will. So thank you very much, all your guests, for your very inspiring contribution to spread this vital information to all. So dear viewers, I'm now addressing to you directly. Do you still wonder how you can act? If raising the topic don't leave you indifferent, join an international discussion like we just had today on the Creative Society TV. It's very simple. Just visit our website, creativesociety.com. Find the link of the forum if you haven't watched it yet. Find your language, watch it, and be part of the international discussion. Like our guests, bring your own understanding and idea of unification and how to do it. Show what you do to other people to inspire. You can write us to our email, info@creativesociety.com, and ask us any question you want, and of course, tell us that you want to join. Like and share the link of this discussion right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear guests. Thank you, dear viewers. And today we see from our conversation that we really live in the world of absurdity. We have everything necessary to have a good life, but at the same time, we can't use it, because most important, that the value of human life should be the highest value in society. But today, the more people are in it, the more profit can be made. And people, or even countries, are led to destruction. But we need to act as long as we have time, while we still can do something. We need to look seriously at the climate crisis and the crisis of our consumerist format of society. We need to allocate funding towards the scientific development and research of the real cause of climate change, and at the same time to change conditions so that every person can know that their life is secure and is the most highest value. Otherwise, we will perish as civilization. And today we have everything, and today we have a real solution, which is the creative society, and clear steps how to achieve it. If you still don't know about the project, please learn more on the creativesociety.com website. Also, you can find there various interviews, opinions of specialists, and articles and more materials. We still need to do a lot, but time is working against us. So let's join hands. Let's unite in our desire to live, in our desire to thrive, because we are humanity, and there is no more time to wait. It's all in our hands. So, dear friend, today your action and inaction affects life of millions of people. It affects your life, life of people you love. So we can do it only together because we're people and we want to live. Thank you.